It's week 9, you got teams and players making history, rivalries are getting intense, and the greatest player on the planet is making damn sure that everyone knows he's back. A lot went down, so let's cover everything that happened this week in the NHL. The Los Angeles Kings were the headliners this week after making history by shutting out the Canadiens 4-0 for their 11th consecutive road win to start the season. That's never been done before, and with every game that passes by, it seems like the West may run through the Los Angeles Kings. Offensively, the team is solid, they're extremely deep down the middle, and the breakout season of Quinton Byfield has only made them more deadly on the front. But it's what they do on the defensive side of the puck where this team just suffocates their opponents. According to Stathletes on Twitter, the Kings are first in almost every defensive metric that there is to measure. Whether it's goals against, shots off the rush, odd man rushes against, the list goes on of the metrics that make this Kings team so good defensively. Now, we will likely do a deeper breakdown of the Kings on this channel, but this team stifles their opponents, and it stems from the 1-3-1 trap that they deploy in the neutral zone. Generating any rush offense against the 1-3-1 trap is extremely difficult as it forces a lot of players and teams to dump the puck in. The numbers will tell you everything you need to know about how this team is winning games, and right now, I don't think there's a team anyone wants to play less in a 7-game series than the LA Kings. Now, another team who made history this week was the Arizona Coyotes, as they won consecutive games against the last 5 teams to win the Stanley Cup. That's not bad for a team who doesn't even have their own arena. According to Big Head Hockey on Twitter, the numbers clearly show that the Coyotes' strength during this stretch has been their special teams and their goaltending. The NHL is a copycat league, and like the Bruins, Arizona uses a 1-3-1 power play setup that has been working for them as of late. Similar to Boston, Arizona likes to use motion to shift into this movement in 5-on-5 situations to give themselves unique looks in the offensive zone. Of course, a large part of their success as of late is thanks to goaltender Connor Ingram. An 11-6 record with a 2.52 goals against average and a .920 save percentage has allowed Arizona to enter the playoff race at this point in the season. Hopefully this success continues and they can finally be considered one day to be a real NHL franchise. Now, this season hasn't made any sense in a lot of ways, but what the Sharks are doing is completely baffling to me. After having one of the worst starts in NHL history, they have looked like an entirely different team as of late with how they've won games. First, they had a comeback win against the Islanders, which they stormed back by scoring 3 goals in the third to force OT and then win the game. Just a quick side note here, this was the Islanders' 12th blown third period lead of the season. For a team whose identity is shutting down the other team and lulling their opponents to sleep, that is a horrific stat to own. Something may have to give over on the island if that keeps happening, but they weren't the only victims of the Sharks this week, as the Detroit Red Wings got to experience Shark hockey as well in full force. In Patrick Kane's debut for the Red Wings, the second period of this game was the most epic second period of NHL hockey this season had to offer. The Wings scored 4 straight in 4 minutes and 35 seconds, only to have the Sharks score 4 goals of their own in 5 minutes and 29 seconds to tie the game at 4-4. As if we didn't have enough history happen this week, this period made NHL history by recording the fastest 6 goals by both teams in a single period. The Red Wings would take the lead again, but the Sharks just don't die and they would storm back again and win it in OT to spoil Kane's debut as a Red Wing. I think I've seen enough from the Sharks to basically declare them Cup champs for the rest of this year, but for real, this team has showed some character after what was an abysmal start to the season. Now, the Red Wings had a wild week themselves as they're getting used to life with Patrick Kane, who has looked pretty good early on. He scored this beauty wrister against Ottawa, but the night as a whole was bitter for the Red Wings. They lost 5-1 to the Senators, but the concern was with Dylan Larkin after he was knocked unconscious after this weird play in front of the net. If you look at it in slow-mo, it looks like he gets shoved by Joseph and his face or chin just perfectly connects with either Kelly's hand or the knob of his stick, and it just knocks him out. Scary incident to see him out cold on the ice like that, but then watch David Perron come out of nowhere and cross-check Artem Zub right in the face in retaliation to seeing his captain out cold on the ice. The wires for sure got crossed here for Perron, and he just saw red after seeing his captain laying unconscious on the ice, but you still can't do that. You can't just cross-check someone in the face. That earned him a game misconduct and will likely be an upcoming suspension. The Hughes Bowl took place this week when the Devils and Canucks clashed. All 3 of Jack, Quinn, and Luke Hughes all tallied points in this game, but the Devils came out on top. The Flyers defeated the Penguins twice in a row after this OT winner, and man, do they ever impress me every time I watch them play. They aren't flashy or overly entertaining, but Tortorella has them clicking as a 5-man unit. This team, according to Tortorella, plays with balls and has an identity, and that is crucial for a team that lacks any top-end talent. They have won 4 in a row, they sit second in the Metro, and they just continue to take teams by surprise. The Penguins, on the other hand, are the complete opposite. Crosby had maybe one of the worst shifts of his career in OT, giving the puck away multiple times and having some brain farts that he just never usually has. Another issue for this team is their god-awful power play despite all their talent. They haven't scored in their last 37 attempts, and that is just flat out inexcusable for a unit that has arguably 3 future Hall of Famers on it. They lost on Friday to the Panthers, and overall, this team just does not look very good. Now, just so everyone knows, Connor McDavid is still pissed, and he's not letting anyone forget it. The Oilers are on a tear right now with a 6-game win streak, and Connor McDavid looks like he's fully back. The guy has 21 points in his last 8 games, and what's more impressive than the sheer volume of points is how he's getting them. These aren't just cheap assists. He is directly driving the play and looking head and shoulders above the competition in the process. This is the version of McDavid that we pretty much saw every night last season. They still got ways to go to get back into the playoff picture, but what a 180 from just a few weeks ago where it looked like it was completely over for the Oilers. Beer League Play of the Week belongs to Austin Watson as he fires a clap bomb right into Jeremy Lauzon's leg in the final seconds of a blowout loss. Never forget when Daniel Alfredsson did this exact same thing in the 2007 Stanley Cup Finals, but that will forever be a Bush League move. Watson was fined something hilarious like $2,000, but the Preds made sure to police the situation themselves anyway after the incident. Now, to add to the history we've seen this week, a secondary assist by Ovi made him just the 16th player in NHL history to hit the 1500th point mark. Truly one of the greatest to ever do it, but he has slowed down quite a bit this season. With just 5 goals on the year, he's on pace for a career low 18 goals, and at that rate, he may never catch Gretzky's goal record. Taking a look at the standings, the Golden Knights, Bruins, and Rangers are all getting awfully comfy at the top of the league, while the basement still has the future 2023 Cup winners and the San Jose Sharks, with Chicago and Anaheim gunning for another first overall pick. Nikita Kucherov continues to dominate as he leads the NHL with 47 points and leads the NHL in goals with 19. So, what did you think about this week? Which team surprised you the most, and who do you think is the most overrated and underrated team at the end of Week 9? Make sure you drop a comment down below, and feel free to let us know what teams or players you'd like to see us break down in the coming weeks. If you want to see some of our other breakdowns or deep dives, click on any of the videos on the screen here, and make sure you subscribe to the channel.